everyone, welcome back to another CoinViewer Clips Q&A. We are sitting back on the sofa. We have reviewed some of the Instagram comments and questions that you guys have sent in, and we are going to dive in and get answering. How are you doing today, Guy?
I'm all right, thanks, Jessica. How are you?
I'm doing very good.
Good.
So,
Good.
I think we're just going to jump straight in because we've got a good range of questions. Thank you to everyone that has sent them in.
Yeah.
We've got to pick some of our favorites.
Yeah, we had loads through as ever, but we picked out a few. Jessica, do you want to hit me with one and then I'll hit you with one and we'll just sort of go back and forth whilst our colleagues laugh away in the back office?
I think they're laughing at the jokes that we have lined up for this video.
Probably.
Okay, so first question that we do have is, do we have a major black swan event happening in the near future which can crash crypto? And that's from Salvid Sana.
Okay, do we have a major black swan event? The answer is I don't know. I hope not. The very nature of a black swan event is that you don't see it coming, and it's a very nasty surprise. But I guess it's something we can never ever rule out. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. But I guess you can't live your life expecting a black swan at any moment. But it's something that we have to live with in crypto. So I would say probably not, but you never be sure. Okay.
Excellent answer.
All right. Dev Malika asks, are you still a believer? Are you still a believer, Jessica?
Oh, absolutely. I'm still a believer. I'm still working in crypto. I think that's the main one. If you work a kind of 40-hour job in crypto, you have to love the industry and believe that it's gonna go forth and conquer even more. Still investing in crypto as well, and still shilling crypto to random taxi drivers, which is a very important part of my weekly routine. That is
perhaps our most important job, right?
We're out here doing God's work, exactly. You've got to, especially back in the UK, you know, the taxi drivers there seem to love crypto. So that's one of my favorite things to discuss.
Awesome. Okay, what's next?
Okay, why XRP is still low after the rejection of the SEC appeal?
Okay, why is XRP still low? I think there's probably 2 or 3 main reasons for that. Firstly, I think there is just a general lack of liquidity. Even though XRP and Ripple have had some really good news recently in that battle against the SEC. First was that ruling back in July, and then the SEC had its request to appeal denied. Mm-hmm. So they now go on to the jury trial, which I think is going to start in April. So obviously Ripple has had that good news. However, there isn't a huge amount of liquidity in the market at the moment. So I think that's probably stopped, a lot of people from buying any more XRP. And there's also the fact that I think there are a lot of kind of XRP bag holders out there at the moment. So if XRP does pump in price, I think that can often be offset by some selling pressure as people take profits, if they bought sort of before any of these good news events. So yeah, I think that's probably what's suppressing XRP. Things specific to XRP and also to the market in general. There we are.
And I remember the time that we did have the news break in July regarding the SEC and the Ripple case. And that was my first week with you guys. It was before I was on air, but I was kind of behind the scenes seeing how everything was done, how you guys would formulate a script during a breaking news day. Mm-hmm. And that was a pretty exciting day in the office.
That was full on, wasn't it? That was a lot of frantic work going on there. Okay, Ben Lingard 18 asks, have you ever considered mining? And if not, why? Have you ever considered mining?
So I first learned about crypto and became familiar in 2017. I was living in Latvia at the time in Eastern Europe, working for a Forex bank. And some of my Russian colleagues were mining from their garden shed, because anyone that has been to Eastern Europe knows in winter, it can get to minus 20 degrees Celsius. So they were mining in their sheds, and it was a pretty lucrative business for them. So Igor, Vanya, if you're watching, well done. I personally never looked into mining, but that being said, I recently have started investing in some kind of open source, you can become shareholders in mining farms in Texas.
Okay.
And Bitcoin mining. So that's something that I'm looking into at the moment as kind of an allocation of being Bitcoin bullish rather than just investing in Bitcoin itself, having some kind of equity in some mining. And it's made for the kind of everyday retail user. So it's making it accessible to anyone. So I'll let you guys know how how that goes. That's been a very new venture for me, but I thought it would be an interesting one to dive into.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one. Okay, what's the next question?
Oh, this is going to be a tough one for you to answer. Okay, can you tell us about your daily routine?
My daily routine. Maybe I should work a few falsehoods into this to make it sound more interesting than it is. So my daily routine, I get up pretty early. I generally get up around 5, but I'm one of those people, as soon as I wake up at some point, if I wake up generally sort of from about 2 a.m. onwards, I find it very difficult to get back to sleep because that's when my brain starts up, and that's when crypto just sort of follows me, around, just runs around in my head. So this is very much a job that kind of goes to bed with you, as it were. It's very difficult to shake it off. So I'll be lying there awake at 2 a.m. and just sort of thinking about crypto-related stuff and work-related stuff. So yeah, there's so I basically get up very, very early. And then I don't have breakfast anymore. I gave up breakfast. I just drink a lot of coffee in the mornings. Then I do a workout. And I'd love to say that I lift extremely heavy weights and run a very long way, but usually it's just end up an embarrassed, sweaty mess on the floor. So I'm not very good at working out. And then I come into work and talk about crypto all day. That's pretty much it. There's I do a lunchtime skydive, and after work I like to drive donuts around in my Lamborghini. They're pretty cool about me doing it outside here in Dubai, and then I go home and sleep on a big bed made of gold.
The most comfy I would find are the beds made of gold. The beds made of silver are a little bit too dense.
Yeah, not quite soft enough. Okay, I can't really ask you this question because you weren't there. Is Singapore really expensive to visit, and how many times did you have to change your shirt while walking outdoors in Singapore? I guess these are questions only I can answer, seeing as I was only there a couple of weeks ago. It is quite expensive, but it is a great place, and yeah, you do get very sweaty walking around. It's humid AF. But that said, I had a wonderful time. Okay, next question. Jessica, have you ever gone hiking or camping outdoors for a long period of time? What a strange question.
It's a strange question, but I've never been so happy to see a question because I've been waiting my 4 months at Coin Bureau and the Q&As for this question to come up. I actually, in May, and I met you guys just before, and you guys wished me well on my travels, did a hike in Nepal. I did Mount Everest Base Camp, and it was 16 days, and it was disgusting and difficult, but it was the best thing I've ever done. And I did it to celebrate my 30th birthday. So if anyone's wondering about doing these kind of hikes, you can message me on Twitter and I will share the ebbs and the flows, the journey. And you know what? One of the main things, I was really worried that crypto would go into a catastrophic black swan crash halfway up this bloody mountain and that I wouldn't be able to sell or do anything. That was a concern. I was like, do I sell? Do I put a stop loss? And it was all fine.
Probably would have been the best place to be if crypto had just suddenly tanked.
Yeah,
ignorance is bliss.
And you'll never guess who is in the car.
Hello and welcome back to GM Crypto. Now we have so much fun and exciting stuff coming up for you on today's show. But first, we need to talk about the Coin Bureau deals page, Guy.
That's right, Jessica, because it really is the place to find the very best deals in crypto.
For starters, you can find bonuses of up to $40,000 at some of the best crypto exchanges.
And that's not all, Jessica, because you can also get discounts on hardware wallets, sign-up bonuses for some of the top exchanges, and trading fee discounts of up to 60%.
Amazing, Guy. Where can people find this deals page?
Well, just head on over to coinbureau.com/deals or use the link in the description.
What's the earliest point that you bought Bitcoin and why?
So I first bought Bitcoin in 2014, not long after Mt. Gox had happened. Why did I buy it? I kind of thought I'd been aware of it since the previous year. I sort of held off on buying it before I sort of knew more about it. And I sort of thought, I was kind of spooked by Mt. Gox, but then I thought in the wake of it, it's like, well, it's clear that it's kind of going to survive. And this is probably a good time to buy in the wake of an absolute catastrophe. which proved to be the case. So I was very pleased about that. Okay, is Solana, Raki.vd asks, is Solana going stronger than ever?
We've spoken about Solana for the past quite a few weeks of the live streams that we do on Wednesdays. I actually recently did an interview with Raoul Pal on Monday this week. It went live on Coinbureau Clips on Thursday, the 5th of October. So if you've not checked it out, I absolutely encourage you to do so, because Raoul is very bullish on Solana. Solana was his main takeaway as the one to watch for the next bull cycle. And he mentioned the fact that we're seeing Firestarter come out, which is the 1.2 million transaction per speed limit. So Solana, which has already been a very fast blockchain, is about to get a whole lot faster. And I think there is, definitely some points to watch. We're already 20% up on the month with Solana. So it's anyone's guess, but it seems that the kind of fundamentals are definitely there. And just have a little listen to Raoul, and I'll let him explain his insights.
Okay. Yeah, Solana has been doing well recently, coming from a bad place in the wake of FTX, obviously. Okay, what's the next question? This is one you to ask me, isn't it?
Yes, this is. So I have one question for you. So the question that we have is, will NFTs have a bull run again? And I had a little look into it. So I've got a few little pointers, but I wanted to ask you first of all, what has been the most expensive NFT of all time, price-wise? It was called the Merge. So that's a little bit of a maybe.
Oh.
But it was sold for a certain price in dollars. What was that price?
Gosh, I thought it was Beeple's Every Days, All the Time, All at Once, or whatever it was called. So Beeple's was $69 million. So maybe $80 million?
$91.8 million in December 2021.
Wow.
Zara from behind the cameras just looks going, these people have way too much money, more
These
money
people
than
are
sense.
insane.
And I thought this was interesting.
So what is this NFT?
I didn't even look to see what the NFT looked like. I just looked at the price and went, how much? But for NFTs having a bull run again, this is also something that Raoul Pal covered in our interview, because Ticketmaster have actually worked with Flow Blockchain to encompass allowing organizers of events to create their own NFTs. So we're seeing like the NHL, the NFL in the US, be able to allocate for the next 100 games NFTs that will come out. So I think we are going to see NFTs revived, but in a different way. I think we're going to see better utility. You won't necessarily know it's an NFT. It will just be something that organizations will provide you as memorabilia that you'll keep on board that's digitized. I do not see personally, and I don't know about you, artwork or digital artwork being sold for $90 million anytime soon. I think that was a one-off fluke of the market, and it was something that I would be very surprised if we saw again.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. Like, I'm not sure whether the whole PFP thing will come back and we'll see sort of Bored Apes or CryptoPunks or a similar collection. I don't know whether we'll see necessarily that again.
Yeah.
What I think we might see is sort of art in general, because remember, obviously, like an NFT, it signifies the ownership of art on a blockchain. So I think maybe we'll see sort of, perhaps, if you like, traditional pieces of art sold along with their NFT. I think that could, we could see some sort of mad prices there. But I kind of agree. I'm not sure we're going to see the sort of same kind of incredible speculation on JPEGs, generative art JPEGs and things like that.
Was it with you that we actually opened OpenSea and I said, if you are a content creator, sometimes you'll find that people will make NFTs of you.
Oh, yeah.
And it has a little look. And if you guys are bored and you have some time, you can type Guy's name into OpenSea, and there's some pretty nice art. I think it's all of the characters you used to do.
Oh, yeah, the costume disclaimers.
For the not financial advice. Guys, I really recommend it. It's an excellent watch. It'll give you a little giggle.
Yeah, they were quite funny, actually. Certainly the NFTs were. Yes, and many people, I'm sure, remember the costume disclaimers, probably with a shudder. Okay, was the next question you to ask me or me to ask you?
I can ask you if you'd like.
Okay.
Where is the best place for a newbie to start?
Okay, that's a good question. I think probably for a complete newbie to crypto, the best place to start is to watch some videos on Coin Bureau, but also just get some basics down. So maybe get yourself a copy of the Bitcoin Standard, for instance. Use the time to read that and understand what Bitcoin is, what its value proposition is, what it was set out to do, and basically spend the next few weeks and months just familiarizing yourself with the subject. And then I guess the next step would be to maybe think about buying some Bitcoin or some ETH or maybe both. But I don't think you need to rush into that. There's not, you still have time on your side. And when you do decide to do that, perhaps you'll read all about it and think, nah, that's not for me. But I'm sure it'll be the opposite way around. But the best place to start would then be to go to, because I think there is a lot to be said to truly understand something. You do have to have skin in the game. Yeah, I guess. So if you want to take that leap and buy some Bitcoin, then the best place to go is a well-regulated exchange, a good, safe, and well-regulated one. Just get yourself a few dollars and go from there. But make sure you spend the time to really understand it first, because that is the best. The best investment you can make is knowledge.
Yeah. And it does go back to what you said about in 2014, you bought your first kind of accumulation of Bitcoin, but you'd heard about it the year prior. And there normally is kind of a 1 to 2 years of people just familiarizing themselves, especially a few years ago when there was less content available, and education is the best way.
Yeah. Okay, Jessica, the big question from Ktan Killer 333 is, who do you think Satoshi is?
Ooh.
US government?
No, I don't think it is the US government. Okay. I do think it's a collective of people. And I think one of the main reasons for this is we've talked about kind of the people that were really fundamental to references to Bitcoin. So for example, like Hal Finney, who was the kind of computer developer, he had a 25-year-old talk that was resurfaced, I think it was last week on Blockworks. Yeah. I'll get us to post the link in the description, but he was talking about zero knowledge proof. The likes of Adam Back, who was cited in the Satoshi white paper, kind of a cypherpunk from the 90s. Scott Stornetta, who is known for his reference papers from the 90s on timestamping on the blockchain. I think a collective of these kind of minds were really important in the creation and inception of Bitcoin. Also, I have a theory that there has to have been a lawyer involved in some way, because the fact that Bitcoin is not classed as a security. Yeah. It was never airdropped to people. There is a limited amount. All of these elements make it so that it's not been at any point had a regulatory block. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because I think what people often point out about Satoshi is that he, she, they must have been knowledgeable in so many fields, not just programming, but also economics, and I guess you could say law as well. They understood that it would have to be something that completely fair launch. There couldn't be any initial distribution or anything like that. Really interesting. I guess it's a story I guess we'll never have resolved. I think Hal Finney is I kind of subscribe to the idea as well that there was probably a group of people involved. Yeah. But Hal Finney definitely, as someone, I was chatting with Dan, our head of research, just yesterday, and because one of the big things about Hal Finney is that he was the guy who received the first ever Bitcoin transaction. Satoshi sent I think it was 10 BTC or something to Hal. So, and as Dan pointed out, it's like, well, if you'd invented it, it kind of makes sense to send it to yourself, because you want to know, you'll know you could just set up another address. You want to know that it works, and you'll be able to instantly see that it's worked. And you don't need to bring anyone else involved. And I kind of thought, yeah, I guess that does kind of make sense in a way. It does, like a test email when you start a new job, just making sure it gets there safe and sound. Yeah, you send it to your from your new work email to your personal one. And I think it's also nice that we don't know. I think it's also, that adds to the element of the fact that it is decentralized. It doesn't matter who made it. People that are still contributing to the network in 2023 are still kind of equally significant in this development. So it's nice that we'll never know. Yeah, I think it's vital that we never know as well. It's I think it will upend the whole Bitcoin ecosystem if Satoshi were to be revealed. So we mustn't find out. Anyway, final question. Final question. So could we get a video about Quant Network and QNT? Thank you. Okay. All right. Well,
I'll tell you, we have recently done a video about Quant Network and QNT, and it is available on our brand new service, which is Coin Bureau Club. Now, I haven't really talked about this a huge amount because we've only recently rolled it out to a select few early subscribers. And we've been working on making improvements to it during that time. We're still sort of rolling it out kind of fairly slowly at the time, at the moment. So Coin Bureau Club, as I said, is basically a subscription service where we are offering altcoin focused content. The altcoin reviews that we would do on the main channel and also here on Clips from time to time, they are kind of harder for us to do at the moment because we have that reach. That means if we cover an altcoin project, particularly a small or even micro cap one, then that can often move the market, and it can be awkward for the project, and it's not great for us. People often say, "Oh, well, you must be invested in that project," when we're not. So we decided that we would start our own standalone service where we can talk about altcoins, and that is Coin Bureau Club. So we're going to leave a link in the description to our deals page, and at the top of that, you'll find a link to CBC there. So you can go there and have a look at what we've got. We've got reviews on XRP, Tron, Axelar, and Quant Network up there at the moment. We also have a research feed, which is where me and some of the research team, including Dan and also Nick, our CEO, among others, that's where we share sort of kind of thoughts that are on our mind about the crypto market in general. Some of it has an altcoin focus. Some of it can be more general trends that we're spotting in the markets, things to look out for, etc. And also you get CBC members get to vote on which altcoin they'd like to see covered the following week. So we have kind of live polls there as well. And we're going to be adding a lot more features in the coming weeks and months. So if you're interested, check it out. Like I say, if you want to hear about Quant Network, that is the place to go. And we'd be very keen to hear about what you think of it. Cool. Okay, that's about it for today.
Amazing.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you again for sending in your questions, and we will be back answering more of them very, very soon. Take care.
Thank you.